Hello everyone and welcome back. It's definitely been a while. I'm sorry that last week there weren't any videos and that I hadn't started the Road to World special or the top 10 decks for World special. That was because when I was about to start recording the series and waiting for Steam Siege to be updated into the Pokemon TCG Online, my internet provider decided to stop providing me with internet. So it's only until today, Saturday, that I have internet. That's why you're seeing this until today. And yeah, so what is this top 10 World Special? I'm going to be reviewing the top 10 decks for Worlds that, in my opinion, have a chance to compete and have a chance to do well. A lot of it is going to be, well, all of the lists will be updated with Steam Siege cards. As you can see on your screen right now, there's a couple of new cards in the Vespiquen Night March deck, which we are starting off with. And yeah, I hope you will enjoy this, guys. Even though I will fly out to Worlds on Wednesday 17th, there should still be videos for that Wednesday and Thursday and Friday before Worlds, maybe until Thursday, not sure. But yeah, let's start off with reviewing the deck, shall we? Now, this Night March Vespiquen list is definitely based off of Nick Robinson's first place at US Nationals win, and I have featured Night March a couple of times in my channel, but not with Vespiquen, so I figured it was probably a good idea, and I think this is the most viable version in terms of dealing overall with the metagame better. I do think it's weaker in the mirror match potentially, although maybe the new Galvantula will help a little bit, but overall I feel like it's a really solid choice for World. So we all know our Night Marchers. Pumpkaboo, dealing Night March 60 HP, tries to abuse Dimensional Valley to be able to attack with DC only. Lampent, which is only there to be discarded away, and our 4 Joltics. Now, Joltik is one of the main attackers of the deck. Night March is an incredible attack, as all of you know, and we have the inclusion of the new Steam Siege Galvantula. Now, as you can see, it's a dual typing, grass and lightning, and that's what makes this Galvantula really clutch. Lightning type its attacks max out at 30 damage, but double threat applies weakness when dealing damage to benched Pokemon, so things like Froakie, things like Shaymin EX, all of those get damaged for 60 instead of 30, so you can actually pick up quite a few KOs with that attack. You can try and, it gives the deck another potential winning condition towards the end of the game, where you might be able to Lysander something up in the late game, and instead of using Night March to KO it, you can trap it there and then use double threat to try and target down bench Shaymin EX from your opponent. So it's another potential win condition. Electro Web is a really curious attack, but we're not going to be able to use it because we only have DCs in our deck. But the double threat, I mean, it's a nice to have option. It might give you a few games. It could also be important in the mirror match by KOing 1 or 2 Joltics even your opponent might have benched. And yeah, I don't see any reason not to run one off, and it also powers up Vespiquen. Now we also have a 2-2 line of Vespiquen. V-Revenge for the late game is really nice. You discard a ton of Pokemon through Night March, you discard your knowns for extra draw cards, and you get to have an evolution as an attacker along with Galvantula, but you can deal with things like Jolteon, even though Pokemon Ranger helps you in that regard. Vespiquen allows you to potentially Lysander and attack the Jolteon or something like that instead of, well, not Jolteon, but I don't know. Between Pokemon Ranger and Vespiquen, you should have no trouble dealing with things like Jolteon. That's what I mean. And then we have our 3 Shaymin EX to support the deck. Now, in terms of item cards, we have our very nice 4 Professor Sycamore, which are now full art, instead of the regular art, so that's really nice to have, and thank you so much to Pokemon for providing me with this master account. And we have 1 Teammate, 1 Xerosic, 1 N, 1 Lysander, 1 X-Maniac, pretty standard, and we have the new inclusion, Pokemon Ranger. Now, with Pokemon Ranger, you get to use item cards against Quaking Lock. You get to attack through Jolteon and Jirachi. Those are the three main uses for Pokemon Ranger, but they're very crucial. So I think it's going to come up in a lot of instances. And then we have our standard for Puzzle of Time, for Compressor, Town Map, Starling Megaphone, etc. We have 3 stadiums. I don't feel comfortable only running 2. If I had the 3-3 line of Vespiquen that Nick used, maybe I'd be more comfortable using the 2-2 line. And give me 1 second. I'm gonna change my microphone over here, and I'm gonna turn on the fan so that I'm not suffering from overheating issues. And my computer also got disconnected from the power cord. And yeah, these videos will be like the regional special, the regionals expanded special. I will be trying to fit in between 4 to 5 games, 1 hour long videos, and this covers pretty much the deck. Now, other options, you could consider running Target Whistle. You could consider running the new Pokepuff, I think, the like ice cream card, which allows you to look at your opponent's hand, pick a basic Pokemon, and put it on their bench. That could allow you to bench a Shaman they've been holding on, so that you don't get too easy prices, so that you can KO it for too easy prices. Target Whistle serves the same way. It can help you seal off some games. But for now, we're gonna keep the list as it is. Haven't made any changes, so let's jump right into the ladder. Now, whilst we wait for our first game, you're gonna see there's other 2 top 10 decks already I've built, Trevenant and Vespiquen Valplume, and we're gonna be reviewing those throughout the week. We're gonna be reviewing Greninja, we're gonna be reviewing Water Toolbox, we're gonna be reviewing Darkrai Giratina, we're gonna be reviewing Metal, we're gonna be reviewing some Volcanion EX list of some sort, which I have in mind. And what else? Potentially Cernia's Break. Haven't decided on the full top 10 list, but I definitely want to cover 10 different decks for Worlds. So yeah, some will be more competitive than others, of course, but we'll see. Now, we're up against a Fire type deck, which I've heard a lot about. Entei combined with Volcanion EX seems to be a really good combination, as you only attack with the first attack and you get to deal extra damage and also have Assault Vest and things like that. Now, our hand, without that Sycamore, it'd be absolutely terrible. Now, seeing as we're up against a Fire type deck, I do not believe... Wow, those Arceus sleeves are really nice. Okay, it is Flareon. So, thanks to a Sycamore, we have a really okay hand, but without the Sycamore, we'd be in a lot of trouble. And now, my opponent immediately finds the Fighting Fury Belt, finds the Compressor, finds the Energy, so he could potentially have the Flareon ready, and it's gonna take a lot of resources for us to be able to... Wow, he has a Blacksmith, so pretty much perfect hand for my opponent, but we still have a chance to one-hit KO on this first turn. It's gonna be difficult, that's for sure, but I'm gonna try, definitely gonna try. So the Sycamore gets us 3 Nightmare Chairs right off the bat in the discard pile. Now, we also find the Stadium, the TCG, and the Megaphone. But... Okay. So, yeah, I generally don't know. I don't think dealing any damage is worth it if I'm not gonna one-hit KO, as in wasting my DCE. Gonna bench the Joltik. Gonna play the Megaphone. So I need 9 Nightmare Chairs in the discard pile. I have 3, so I need to find 2 Battle Compressors. I could Shaman for 5 and try and go for it, or I could be more conservative. My opponent did discard a Sycamore, so he might have a Vespiquen in his hand. I'm gonna go for it. Gonna play the DC there. I'm gonna play this just to see what I'm about to top deck. Not bad. The order doesn't matter because I'm gonna draw all 5 cards right now through Shaman. Well, actually, I should have used Unknown maybe first. Yeah, that was a mistake on my part. Should have used Unknown first before using the puzzle, before using Shaman, so I could have played the Battle Compressor first. Now, 1, 2, 3 more. So there's only 3 Night Marchers left in my discard pile. I'm going to play Puzzle of Time once again. Okay, so we're not going to get the KO. We are not going to get the KO. Yeah, we're definitely not gonna get the KO. Gonna deal a lot of damage. I've wasted now 2 Puzzle of Time, which is not ideal. Gonna use the Farewell Letters. That's unfortunate. I mean, I could play a 3rd Puzzle of Time, and maybe my 3rd card is the Battle Compressor, but odds of that are not very high. So, I'm gonna bench the Pumpkaboo. Gonna keep my hand for now, keep a few resources, and we deal 120 damage. So 50 short of the KO. Now this upcoming turn, we'll see what my opponent does. Yeah, he had the Vespiquen, so I mean, pretty risky what he did, and oh well. I mean, we still trade 2 for 2. The loss of the TCG is definitely not ideal, and that's why I have to conserve this other Puzzle of Time to potentially recover another one. So yeah, we'll see. He gets his KO, which is fine. He doesn't counter the Stadium, so I'm going to promote Pumpkaboo this time around, and I'm going to end. I need to find a TCG, otherwise we might be in a little bit of trouble. I actually do not find the TCG, but I do get access to Shaman. If I could actually clean KO the Flareon EX. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could clean KO the Flareon EX. 4, 5, 6, 7. But I mean, yeah, I think I need to do that. Well, I could discard the Vespiquen as well. Huh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Gonna try and get this KO. I'm gonna find an Unknown. There's 3 DCs there, so we still have potential for that. Gonna bench the Unknown. I'm gonna use the Escape Rope. He only has 1 choice, obviously. Gonna promote the Joltik, and now I'm going to bench the Shaman. So I get to draw 5 cards plus another 2 through Unknown. I do not find the DC just yet. So the town map reveals, yep, nothing too important in my price cards. Gonna use the Battle Compressor, thin out my deck a little bit more. Gonna get rid of the Combi. Gonna get rid of the Teammates so I can potentially use it next turn. And this is a Rosic. Yeah. So we have another 2 cards to draw through Unknown. Could potentially draw our 3rd Shaman as well, or another Ultra Ball. So we have a few outs. There's the DC. Okay, so I'm gonna conserve the Unknown for now. I will bench the Combi, however, because you never know when I might need another attacker. And I'm gonna clean KO this Flareon EX. He will return the KO, but then I can potentially KO him. Oh, the Shaman was prized, so I'm gonna have the Vespiquen, and gonna have the Compressor, I guess. Nah, yeah, the Compressor, because I might need Lysander for some reason, and I do have access to 2 Vespiquen, so that's pretty cool. and through using Battle Compressor I can make myself less susceptible to an N. Hopefully you guys are hearing me properly. I do make myself less susceptible to an N by doing this. Now the issue here is I allowed my opponent to not need to power up well, to not need to focus, Pablo. He doesn't need to waste any blacksmiths on a new Flareon because he already has the energy on the active one. But yeah, Flareon EX definitely, as on its own, I don't think it's a good choice for Worlds. Definitely, it's a fast Pokemon EX, but it's a bit underwhelming. And with Water Toolbox being so popular, with Night March being popular, maybe for next format, there's a chance for a lot of Fire type decks to start shining, especially with Volcanion EX making an appearance. But for now, for Worlds, I would definitely not consider Flareon EX. Now, this is important. He chooses to retreat the damaged Flareon and chooses to KO me with the Fighting Fury belted Flareon EX, which is a smart choice. But let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So, because I do have versus Seeker into and how many Night Marchers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm dealing 200 damage. That's fine. I can get the KO with either Pokemon, Pumpkaboo, or Vespiquen. All I need is my Battle Compressor in order to discard my last Night Marcher, and that's game. Well, not game, but yeah. You see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna find the teammates. Now, I have two options. With teammates, I can find Dual Puzzle of Time or DCE, and that's it. And discard the Joltik and get the KO. But with the Puzzle of Time, what I'm actually going to do is find my Megaphone. Gonna find the Megaphone and find myself a DC. That way I get the KO. There's the Megaphone and there's the DCE. And I get my KO. I do not overextend my resources. I still have one Night Marcher available to me to use, or the Vespiquen as well. I also get to conserve 2 DCs in my deck as well. I'm still gonna use the Battle Compressor, but I'm not gonna discard the Night Marcher. What I will discard, however, is Lysander, because I still have a ton of Verse Seekers. I will discard the Hex Maniac and the Pokemon Ranger, which, as you know, is not useful in this match right now. Instead of Hex Maniac, I'm gonna discard Dimensional Valley. And then, with my KO, I will grab Shaman EX, because my opponent might end me. And I'm actually going to grab the Ultra Ball, because if my opponent ends me down to 2 cards, I have the odds of drawing Versus Seekers, I have the odds of drawing Shaman, I have the odds of drawing Ultra Ball to go into Shaman, so all of that can be really useful in order for me to find the last DC I need. And because this Flareon EX is heavily damaged, I'm not gonna struggle in order to have enough Pokemon in the discard pile to KO with Vespiquen, have enough Night Marchers to KO with Night March, etc, etc. It's a way to ensure that you win the game. Now my opponent does with the Max Elixir. He will be able to KO Pumpkaboo this turn by using the ability Flash Fire, and he doesn't end me. So Versus Seeker into Teammates into DCE wins me the match. There's also 10 cards left, so what I can actually do is thin out my deck and actually find the DCE through using Sycamore. So that's what I'm gonna do. Gonna Shaman EX for 4 cards. There's even 2, so I have a 50% chance to draw it right now. I do not, but I do draw the Sycamore. And looks like my opponent conceded. There's the 2 DCs. So I'm gonna deal a ton of damage to that thing. And I could have potentially dealt 20 more through the use of unknowns. So yeah, we win our first match. Not too complicated. Even if we had not gotten the DC on the turn we needed it, when we attacked with Joltik on that clean Flaring EX, because of the 2-for-1 price trade-off, I don't think we would have struggled at all in order to win this match. So yeah, that's our first game under our belt. We begin our top 10 special for Worlds with a pretty satisfying win. And yeah, that's Night March for you. The deck is so fast, it pretty much, I mean, it's not guaranteed that it will have everything it needs on the turn it needs it, but I mean, it will have what it needs more often than not, you know? One of the most consistent decks out there. And now we're up against a Psychic type deck, so I hope this is a Trevenant deck actually. Give me one second. Just wanted to turn off one of the fans. Okay, so we actually lose the coin flip. So if this is Trevenant, we might be in a lot of trouble. We generally might be in a lot of trouble. I do, however, start Pump Kaboo, which I think is the better choice now. It comes down to, does my opponent get the turn 1 lock? If this is in fact Trevenant. If he does find the Wally on turn 1, we are going to be in such a huge trouble. But wow, it's actually a Mewtwo EX deck. Okay. So even though we probably won't be seeing Mega Mewtwo EX at Worlds, I don't think. It serves us to see how well the Night March deck works. So. Why still play that? Asks my opponent. Because, wow, okay, so he concedes. Apparently he's already playing for the new standard format. He doesn't realize that there might be people who want to playtest for Worlds. So yeah, what can you do? Another Psychic type deck. Is this Trevenant? Hopefully it is Trevenant. I genuinely hope it is Trevenant. Even if we lose, I mean, you'll get to see why Trevenant is favored against Night March. Now we also lose the coin flip. So yeah. We'll see. We get an okay hand. Sycamore, always good to have in your starting hand when everything else doesn't really help you. And my opponent starts Shaman. Wow, he actually chose not to go first. Okay. Gonna go for the Sycamore directly. I could use a Puzzle of Time, but there's really no point. And we'll see what we can do from here. Wow. This is pretty bad. Okay, now I will use the Puzzle of Time to hopefully get something better. But no. Gonna put the Unknown first. Now I know I will get these 2 cards off of my next Sycamore, which is obviously not ideal. Just in case, I will do that. Just in case, also this is, well, the energy. Probably not a good idea, attaching the energy. I will, however, get back the Sycamore, because if my opponent is using Trevenant, I would not be able to use the Vespiquen next turn. But I should have held on to my energy, because if it is the energy denial Trevenant version, there is a chance he might remove my DC. So that was not a good play on my part. It looks like it is Trevenant. He discards a Stadium and a Vespiquen, which also probably indicates he will Sycamore as well. Should see. No, wow, so it's a Hoopa. Okay. So is this Mega Mewtwo then? Is this another Mega Mewtwo? It's definitely not Trevenant anymore. which I'm a bit disappointed to see. A little bit disappointed. It's actually Mega Alakazam. Okay. So... oh yeah. Mega Alakazam. A lot of damage counter dropping. We need to try and lock my opponent to Hex Maniac. He whiffs on the Super Scoop Up, which is great. But what we need is to secure KOs every single turn and prevent my opponent from cleaning my board in a single strike. So step one is finding well, that's not good. Wow, that's definitely not good. Now we need to find another DCE. And he gets to put 3 damage counters on Pumpkaboo. Wow. So no matter what, my Pumpkaboo is pretty much dead. Uh-oh. Not good. So that's how Alakazam can potentially trade effectively against Night March. So I'm gonna bench the Unknown, and I'm gonna Sycamore now. I have 3 Night Marchers in my discard pile. I do not find... yeah, I find the Battle Compressor, and then what? He finds a Mega Alakazam and KOs me. KOs both my Pokemon, actually. But... can I use Unknown to find the Battle Compressor already? Okay. So I have to bench the Joltik. I also have to bench the Combi. Can I use Battle Compressor? Oh boy. Can I discard both Lampents and... well, okay. I could discard the Hex Maniac, but I'm gonna need to find... wow, and there's 1 DC prize as well. Okay, I'll discard the Hex Maniac. Man, this is going to be really, really hard. That escape rope, wow. That escape rope definitely. And well, the escape rope would not have been as detrimental if I had not made the mistake of attaching the DC. Otherwise, I would have had a KO this turn on the Mega Alakazam. So yeah, that was on my I'm not gonna say inexperience, but on my eagerness to play everything down. So Evelyn gets a double KO here. So his first Mega Alakazam is a good trade-off. He actually opts to KO the Joltik. He might actually opt not to attack my active, which would be interesting. Definitely would be interesting. An interesting choice. Because he can Mega Evolve his other Mega Alakazam, KO my benched Pumpkaboo, which has the energy. But without the Spirit Link, he's actually gonna opt to do that. So he's gonna pass a turn without KOing the active and without activating my teammates, because teammates reads if your opponent's you can only play this card if one of your Pokemon is knocked out through damage. So wow, that's really problematic. Okay, get another Battle Compressor. I really don't need to discard any more things. Okay, never mind. I might actually need to, because I will not. 1, 2, 6, 7. Okay, only 1 is fine, because the active will die eventually. So after that, well, not entirely sure actually. Okay, but yeah, Dimensional Valleys are definitely useless at this point. And now Do I N or do I Sycamore? I think I'm gonna N. I still have a Shaman and Ultra Balls. Okay, and I do find the DC. That's great. That is great. I'm not gonna bench the Joltik. I do have the Escape Rope, which is nice. Now the question is, do I play the Shaman? I think I do. Because I might want... I mean, in an ideal world, I find the town map here, so that I can free up my other Puzzle of Time. I actually do not. I find another Battle Compressor, but I find Joltics to attack with, which is very nice. Pokemon Ranger, once again, not very useful, or not gonna be useful at this point in time. Xerosic won't be either, I don't think. And potentially my last Battle Compressor. Yeah, the last Battle Compressor, okay. It's just making my deck thinner. And I will bench both unknowns, but I'm not gonna use them just yet in case my opponent does end me after this turn and I get my KO. He can KO me back, but that's perfectly fine by me because after that KO, the price trade-off comes back to being in my favor. And he has no Alakazam, so he cannot place any damage counters at this point in time. So yeah, even though we could have been in a little bit of trouble because of my mistake attaching the DCE. Like, if I had not attached the DCE, we would have won this game by now already. But because I did make that mistake, I put myself in a more complicated position. But once again, Mega Alakazam not gonna be the most competitive deck, not for Worlds at least. So yeah, not a big deal. Now my opponent does find Skyla and opts to find a Spirit Link and chooses to attach the Spirit Link, okay, to the Mega Alakazam, which, okay, but okay, yeah, I understand his logic. If I whiff the KO, he can attack with Mega Alakazam next turn, but right now I think I would have done what he did, except I would have found a different Alakazam. Wow, he actually discards it. Okay, I don't know. I think I would have found another Alakazam and attached the Spirit Link to that benched Alakazam. He goes and finds another Mega Alakazam, which makes absolutely no sense. I mean, unless he's trying to make his deck thinner. I don't understand, but okay. So, all he did is allowed me to get the KO potentially with Vespiquen instead. So how many Pokemon do I have? 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I need 3 more Pokemon in the discard pile. Because I will not be able to do that, I actually should attack with Pumpkaboo. And in order to do that, I mean, I could Escape Rope as well, but there's really no reason for me to do it. I will get rid of the Joltik and the Combi, and I will find myself an unknown, because apparently I have 2 Shaymin EX prized. Okay, so we're not in a good situation actually. I think I should play my Puzzle of Time. I have not played a supporter yet. My opponent... Okay, I thought it was damage for a second there. Okay, I'm gonna play the thingy. Okay, I would have drawn a Vespiquen, that's fine. I'm gonna use 2 knowns to have both Vespiquen in my hand before I use Teammates. Now, something to keep in mind is that 1 TCE is priced. My opponent probably won't find another. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 12, 15. Okay, now I have the KO with Vespiquen even. So I'm gonna use Teammates And yeah, my opponent doesn't have anything after this Alakazam goes down. He should be conceding afterwards. I'm gonna find the town map, and I'm gonna find the TCE. With the town map, I guarantee that I find the TCE for next turn. And because I do have Pumpkaboo, and I also have Joltik, yeah, there's gonna be 2 Shamans and the TCE. I will be able to... Okay, I'm gonna bench the Joltik as well. I will be able to guarantee I have that last TCE for my last 2 prizes. So we're pretty good here. And I'm gonna find another Shaman off of my prizes so that in case my opponent does end me down to 2 cards, I have Vespiquen, I have Shaman, I have Ultra Balls, I have the TCE in order to find that last TCE to win the match. So yeah, and actually decides to promote Hoopa, which is the only Pokemon that can withstand a hit from Vespiquen. He does go for the N, but he's gonna draw 3 cards. I draw 2, and I dealt 170 damage this previous turn, right? 10, yeah, so I still KO the Hoopa. And I can't KO the Alakazam, I can't KO anything, and there's my opponent's concession finally. So yeah, maybe he was trying to find an enhanced hammer or something like that, maybe. But yeah, we get another win for Night March, and we get a chest. Actually, I just bought like 20 booster packs of Steam Siege, 24 I think, or 22 or something like that. I have a few coins more, so I can buy a few more booster packs, so I might make a digital booster pack opening for the channel as a special video or whatever. But yeah. We're up against a fighting type deck, so we're definitely not facing off against potential world decks, which makes me sad. But we still get to see how the deck works and how fast it can run and everything, and how to get out of sticky situations, because the hand we currently have is definitely a sticky situation for us. Looks to be a prime... No, okay, it's Psycard. Okay. So, I'm gonna attach the energy. I could play the Puzzle of Time. I actually think I need to, so that I can draw an extra 3 cards. I will see what I draw off of those 3 cards. I will draw into another Shaman, which is nice. Galvantula does hit Psycard for weakness, but we're probably not going to mind that. I mean, it's only 60 damage, but what we can actually do is attack with Vespiquen, because Vespiquen is also a grass type, and Psycard coincidentally is weak to grass. So I'm gonna use another Shaman for 4 more cards. Hopefully we draw something useful this time around. We actually do not. Going to Ultra Ball both Joltiks away and find my other Shaman. And I'm gonna pass the turn for now. I'm gonna wait to use Shaman for the upcoming turn, but yeah. Definitely a very underwhelming turn 1, as we weren't able to find a supporter. My opponent, could he KO Pumpkaboo right now? He's dealing 2, 4, 50 damage. Plus a stadium, he would be dealing 70 minus resistance. Okay, he ends us. That's fine. That's perfectly fine by me. As of right now, he can't KO. He needs to find a stadium and a Regirock to KO. But he actually uses Lance Pulse. So I find a lot of useful cards. So I'm gonna Sycamore straight away, and now I have a chance to KO the Psycard if I find a Vespiquen and a TCE. I do find the Vespiquen, I do not find the TCE, nor the Megaphone, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even with all 11 Night Marchers in the discard pile, I cannot KO Psycard, but I can damage it. And if by some miracle I do find another TCE, Gonna get rid of the cards that will not allow me to find the TCE, such as Lampent, such as my... No, I'm gonna keep the Stadium, such as Pokemon Ranger, and such as... there's only 2 DCs, so there's 1 DCE priced. What else doesn't help me in this situation? I mean, I could get rid of the Joltik, I guess? Or the Punk. I'll get rid of the Punkle. And now I have 2 cards to find the unknown, so that I can retreat and KO the side card. There's 1 unknown. Do I get lucky? Nope. 1 in 12 chance for me to get lucky. Now, because I do find the other Battle Compressor, I can, however, discard other cards such as this guy, such as this guy, and such as this guy. None of those help me right now. There's 2 DCs, there's 20 cards, so this unknown has a 1 in 10 chance of finding the TCE. Not very likely, but we're also not in a huge hurry. So we do not find it. I'm gonna Night March, and we'll see what happens in the upcoming turn. No big deal, really. If my opponent had not attached the Fighting Fury belt, I think I could have gotten the KO. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope, I would have been 10 short, actually. Would have been 10 short. Okay, so he finds the side card, finds the Focus Sash. Finds the Focus Sash, which he should attach. No, he's not going to attach. Okay. So that opens up the possibility of Lysandering up. But I'm gonna Teammates. All I'm gonna do is Teammates because I do not have a DC. So I need to Teammates. Okay. I have 3 Sycamore in my hand. With Teammates I will find a DCE and a town map, because with the town map I guarantee that I find I get the Megaphone off of my prize cards, and I can actually get the first Seeker in order to remove the, or to find another teammates as well, or use Lysander or whatever. I'm gonna keep the Megaphone and DCE or versus Seeker. Well, I have this Erosic. I actually have this Erosic, so definitely DCE. And could he KO the Vespiquen? I don't think he will be able to KO the Vespiquen. But just in case, I'm gonna go for the Berserker. Yeah, those 2. I'm happy with those 2. I mean, 60 damage right now. Focus Sash, Trainer's Mail, Ultra Ball. I mean, worst case scenario, he ends us, which is why okay, he uses X-Maniac, so he's not going to end, and this is the game. This is absolutely game, because and I even top deck the DCE, so I just Erosic away the Focus Sash, use V Revenge for 260 damage, way overkill, and there we go. So on to the next match. We're not facing off against world tier decks, I don't think. Sidecard, not a huge fan either, honestly, but you can see how versatile the deck is. Grass typing is really good as well, because there's Seismitoad. There's a potential for Sidecard Vileplume to be in the format, or for you to face off against it at Worlds. Wow. So Water, Fire, Psychic, Colorless. Generally do not know. If anything, we get to find out how versatile the deck is. I would assume this to be some Volcanion EX type of deck, because we see the Volcanion EX deck box, but we get a pretty okay hand in order for us to potentially get a turn 1 KO against this Volcanion EX. It is a Volcanion EX. So there's a Skyfield, there's a Floatstone, there's a Sycamore. Wow. Discarding those two max elixirs is really detrimental for my opponent. We see another Volcanion EX, which allows you to power up benched Volcanion EXs, and water typing for this deck might actually not be anything other than the Volcanion EX. He's gonna retreat into this Volcanion. He should be using Blacksmith, I would imagine, even though he has the max elixirs. The Skyfield is interesting. I generally, if or when I ever feature Volcanion EX, I definitely want to. Wow, now that makes things a lot harder. But yeah, I definitely want to try and feature Volcanion EX in a sort of water toolbox deck by abusing Rough Seas and Manaphy and all of that. So Ultra Ball, okay, I need to have 9 Night Marchers in my discard pile. 9 Night Marchers, that's a lot of Night Marchers. Okay, gonna get rid of the teammates and the Ranger. I will find Shaman. And how many Night Marchers? There's 4, there's 2, and there's 3. So there's 2 Night Marchers. No, there's only 1 Night Marcher price. That's fine. So I basically need to find 3. Well, I need to find a Battle Compressor and a Lysander, or 3 Battle Compressors. Yeah, neither of those is very likely. I do find one. I do find the first one, which will definitely get rid of 3 Lampents. Or you could make an argument to get rid of the Lysander. Well, actually no, because I actually have no way to draw any more cards. So I also don't want to get rid of a Puzzle of Time and a Colorless Energy. Okay, I'm gonna use an own just this once. Hopefully I don't draw another TCE. Okay, an Ultra Ball, I'll take that. That actually opens up the possibility to find another Shaman and to find that Versus Seeker Compressor combo that I would love to find. Now there's also the chance that I find more TCEs, which is obviously not ideal, and that's exactly what happens. And I do find the Verse Seeker. Man, so freaking frustrating. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I do not know what to do here. I think I have to sacrifice the Joltik. I mean, I'll damage him. Cannot afford to discard 2 DCs. I generally can't. And the odds of drawing 2 DCs were the same as drawing 2 Battle Compressors, so the price trade-off will still favor me in the long run, I think. So we should still be okay, as long as it doesn't consecutively Lysander up my Shaman. Yeah, especially because of the effect of Volcanic Heat, I would assume you want a Manaphy EX sort of deck. He has Flareon as well. I mean, yeah, Manaphy plus Water Energies, I know would be a little bit difficult to balance correctly, but I think it could definitely be doable. Steam Up. He's discarding Fire Energies to deal more damage with Volcanion, which seems really weird. It seems really, really weird. Unless he has a Lysander to KO the Shaman, which I generally would not mind. I generally would not mind him doing that. Looks like he's not going to Shaman though. Versus Seeker into Sycamore. He's gonna deck out. I mean, not really, but it's really weird that on his second turn he only has 14 cards left. And I guess if he was going to Sycamore anyways, it made sense to use Volcanion EX's attack. But it's really not that big a deal, I don't think. I do, however, if I teammate, I only have 4 Night Marcher. That's 80 damage. 80 plus 60 is not enough. The issue is the following turn. The big issue is the following turn. Wow. Oh, cool. Okay. Guess I'll figure it out after. Okay. Gonna find the teammates. With the teammates, I need to find my stadium so that I can attack. And I have the TCG, I have the stadium. I need another battle compressor so that I have enough damage, or I can Megaphone. Nah, I'm gonna battle compressor to thin out my deck even more. So battle compressor, get rid of the Lampent, get rid of Pumpkaboo, and what? Joltik or 2 Pumpkaboos? 1 on 1. So that I can deal more damage later on. I will play this. He will discard Hoopa and both Shamans, most likely. There's one Shaman, there's the Hoopa, and there's the other Shaman. Yep. And then I get to do this, and I get to Night March for the KO, for the over KO. Okay, and I only get 1 prize for my efforts. It is an Ultra Ball though. So if I could find the escape rope, yeah, trading 2 DCs for only 1 prize is definitely not good. But what can I tell you guys? Starting off with 3 DCs is definitely not ideal for Night March. Definitely not ideal. There's a Trainer's Mail, there's a Floatstone, so happy I didn't use the Megaphone yet. Yep, he does attach it immediately. He has all his energy spread out though, and he has discarded a ton of energy. Oh, never mind, he only has 2 energy in the discard. Oh, because he recovered 2. So he's gonna use Steam Up once again. Probably going to want to take a KO with this Volcanion, you would imagine. Not entirely sure. He puts back a Shaman and 2 Fire Energy. There's also the win condition to Lysander up a Volcanion EX. There's also that possibility. And there's a Vespiquen into what you would imagine to be a Sycamore. Yep. So his best play would definitely be to find 2 Fire Energies and use another Steam Up and attack with Volcanion. Actually, yeah, he only needs 1 Fire Energy, never mind. Right now he's dealing 50 damage. Now he's dealing 80. So he does get to get he does get to get the Pumpkaboo and put us in a lot of trouble, not gonna lie. Definitely put us in a lot of trouble. Now he has another issue with retreating as well. Potentially. I do top deck a versus Seeker and he concedes. What? That makes no sense. He was actually in a pretty okay position. But he decides to concede for some reason. Okay. So let's find our last match. All these animations. Let's find our last match, shall we? Let's find our last match with Night March. I mean, you could see Volcanion EX at Worlds. You could definitely see it, but with Water Toolbox being popular and with Greninja potentially being used, I don't know. Seems a bit difficult to rely on such a deck. But yeah. Let's see what we find for our last match. That means this will be over an hour video. And I'm gonna finish recording this and then 2 more videos. Probably at least 1 more, so that I can upload. I'll start the top 10 today, Saturday the 6th, and finish potentially. I don't know. I don't know when. I'll have to think of the schedule. I just really wanted to start recording, you know? Okay. So we get to go first against Matthew. Now, we'll see what he's using. Let's see what he's using. I do not want to bench anything else. My opponent does. And it's Mega Rayquaza. Okay. So I do not have an issue with that. Definitely. I'm gonna Ultra Ball and find myself another Joltik. Pumpkaboo is not that great of an attacker. I really don't care if he... oh boy. Yeah, I really do not care if... how much damage he deals to me. Pumpkaboo is not gonna be my main attacker here. And okay, so I pretty much find not everything I need, but almost everything I need to have a reliable string of KOs. I will attach the TCE to the bench Joltik. I will battle Compressor, and then I'll hold on to the TCE and simply... how many more Joltiks? Okay, there it is. So yeah, I'm gonna hold on to this TCE. Gonna hold on to a Joltik as well, though I could bench it. Yeah, I'm gonna bench it, never mind. And I'm gonna pass. No need for me to discard the TCE, no need to have such an explosive turn. He might not even KO the active Joltik, but pretty much I have a one-hit KO. From this point onwards, I should one-hit KO every single one of his Pokemon. Now, if he was using the Seismitoad EX version of the deck, you could make an argument that we might have been in a little bit of trouble, but because we did go first, we have 4 Night Marchers already in the discard pile. We would have had a 5th, so we could have 2-hit KO'd the Seismitoad at least. I had a really sick game. When I was using Mega Rayquaza, I faced off against Night March on the ladder, and you can see that video back from the Mega Rayquaza week. Man, that match was really, really incredible, and Seismitoad EX was the key to winning that match. I had to use Quaking Punch every single turn, but I managed to win out in the end, and that was pretty crucial. So yeah, my opponent is getting the explosive Mega Rayquaza start, but you could also imagine that maybe my opponent's deck is all ready for the next standard format. I don't know. This is why PTCGO right now is not the best way to test for Worlds. And yeah, we have our TCE. We're currently only dealing 160 damage, so I'm gonna use Sycamore. I need to find a Compressor. I need to get 2 more Night Marchers in my discard pile, which I would not have been able to do, but my opponent decides to concede. So, okay guys, that's what, 5 out of 5 victories? Definitely not 5 competitive decks you might face off at Worlds, but I have no control over that. We do get to see how the deck works, the versatility it has, how it can adapt to difficult situations, making good decisions in terms of thinning out the deck to be less susceptible to a late game end, things like that. So yeah, that's gonna finish up or wrap up our first video of this top 10 for World special, and look forward, as you can see on your screen, upcoming tomorrow we have Trevenant, and then on Monday we have Vespiquen Vileplume, and then we have other decks which you will see later on. Thank you guys so much, and see you guys next time. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't yet, because I know a lot of you watch the videos but have yet to subscribe. So yeah, thank you guys so much, and